The following may contain language which will be offensive to some people and inappropriate for children. Still here? Then pour your favorite beverage and let's get this fucking show started.
Forum, assemble! You're watching Fantastic Forum, the premier show about comic books and your live weekly conversation about entertainment and geek culture. We are the Fantastic Forum, coming to you live and direct from the Hall of F. Hope you're having a wonderful morning, afternoon, evening, or night, as the case may be, depending on where you are in the world. And if you're not, you should stick with us. We'll help you take it up a notch. You have half of the usual suspects in the building. First, he is our riddle. Inside of an enigma trapped in Chinese finger cuffs. You don't know him. You love him anyway. He's our silent assassin, Jay.
Hey, what's up?
They need to see you, Jay. There you go. As for myself, my name's Lawrence Young. They call me Mayor Young. Welcome to Fantastic Forum. Man, I tell you, it's been a minute since we started the show with just two of us. Or at least that I know of. Sometimes I'm missing, so maybe I'm one of the people that made it so it was only two. I apologize if that was the case, but man. But it's all good, man. Listen, if there's one thing I can genuinely count on, is that Joe is going to be here and be ready, and we're going to make this show happen. I know Moses Magnum, Oz, they're on the way, so they'll be here momentarily. But in the meantime, we got a great show for you today, because we are going to be talking to you all about the new Netflix show, Dead Boy Detectives. We're going to be talking to you all about the latest DC animated movie, Justice League Crisis on Infinite Earths Part 2. And we're going to bring you a review of Dawnrunner, the Dark Horse comic that is in the, what I guess now has to be a genre of kaiju mech. What is it? Battle, arena battle, confrontation. I don't even know what
it's
is
just
it.
Mecha. It's Mecha. No. It's a Mecha comic.
No, Joe, no, because Mecha, like Mecha as a genre is like, don't get me wrong. There's mechs in it. I'm not saying there's not mechs in it, but you know what? We're gonna hold this conversation. We're gonna hold that conversation for when we do the review, because yeah, that's all part of it, right? It's all part. Ladies and gentlemen, the backbone, the pillar, the strength of Fantastic Forum. Look, he's creating his own shadows and his own light. Moses Magnum. Oh, he's on the sun.
This fucking Weimaraner bridge shit over Guatemala, man. Was it Schwarzschild or what the fuck is that shit called?
Yeah, right. Listen. The funny thing was, I'm like, what's happening over Guatemala? I thought you were talking about a real world event at first, and I was like, wait a minute, no, I think he's making a reference to the book, which makes more sense with that light. Yeah, I'm like, I got you. I'm with you, friend.
My fucking internet was acting up, and then my camera stopped working and all this shit. And I woke up at like 6:24, so that was that. And then I started to read the comics. So sorry, I'm late.
No, it's okay, man. Look, we are happy that you are here, Moses Magnum. And I think, wait, do we need to bring Oz in? No, Oz is here. Ladies and gentlemen, intrepid senior reporter, Oz Core. How are you, sir?
Yeah, I too am having problems. My fridge has no beer. My whiskey's in another building. So
oh, no.
I have to crack another bottle of cherry number 1.
Wait, I love it. Like,
I have to get kombucha.
6/30/23. This is almost a year old, so it's not quite done yet.
Nice. I was gonna say, like, my whiskey being in another building feels like the ultimate, like, first world problem, where it's like one of those things where it's like
we refer to it as real world problems.
Listen, I'm not knocking it. I'm sitting here like, yeah, like, if I know I have whiskey but it's out of reach because it's in an entirely different building than the one I'm in. That feels like a very real problem to me. I'm just like, but man, like, yeah. I love that you just had another bottle of alcohol on hand, though. Just like,
well, this is my homemade stuff. So I've got like 4 bottles of this left, and it's the number 1, so it's like the first batch I ever made.
Nice.
It's really good.
Nice.
God damn it.
I believe it. Look, I hope to be able to partake one day. It's like Oz's tub wine. No.
Toilet wine.
So
I don't have a bathtub.
I love it. So, but anyway, folks, as I said, we got a great show for you today, and we'll also talk about whatever else it is that you all want to talk about. But before we do all that, we want to make sure that we thank Mr. Scott Rubin, because without him, this show would not exist. And with that said, let's have the intern do their thing.
Want to get in on the action? Call Fantastic Forum on Skype and join the fun. Too shy to call in? That's okay. You can join the Discord chat room available at
fantasticforum.live.
Join the party. You know you want to.
Thank you,
Want to
intern.
get in on the
Appreciate
action?
you.
Call Fantastic Forum on Skype.
You out of
and join
pocket.
the
You're doing
fun.
too much.
Too shy to call in?
Calm it
Okay.
down.
You can join.
Calm it down. We got a show we have to do too, intern. You can't have the whole spotlight. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. Yeah. FantasticForum.live is the place to be. You can go ahead and go there, call in. You'll be the 5th member of Fantastic Forum. If you're a little shy, that's okay. We don't mind. You don't have to be on camera. You could always call in without, put like a cute little avatar. Or if you're like, hey, I don't even want them to hear my voice, you can go ahead and jump into the chat room, either on Twitch or on YouTube. We'll take your comments directly out of chat and bring them into the show, such as Jay. And sort of witty chat comment here, friend.
Tiger Claw says, any of you guys watch the Knuckles series?
I did, but Mayor Young over there hates the whole franchise, so he like forbade us from talking about it.
Yeah.
He's
holding the audience hostage.
Wait, which franchise do I hate? Sonic the Hedgehog?
Yeah, the whole franchise.
The hedge what?
Oh. Hedgehog?
Oh, I heard you say hedge fuck. Wow, that's fuck.
That's off the air. That's off the air.
Listen, Tiger Claw, what I will say is that I personally have not watched Knuckles yet. But I will, because I'm pretty sure we'll be covering it on the show next week. So that's provided that you're going to call in and talk to us about it, Tiger Claw. So I think at this point we need to figure out
setting
Tiger Claw's
conditions to our discussing it.
What's Tiger Claw's dedication to this franchise he says he loves so much? Is it enough to call into the show and be like, hey guys, Knuckles, am I right? Knuckles. Because that's what Tiger Claw, that's how he would start that conversation, right? Okay, thanks. I appreciate the resounding support for that. Everybody was like, it's like, is that supposed to be a Tiger Claw impression? Okay, I see y'all. That's okay. I will leave the impressions alone, sons of bitches. How are you all doing? Okay? Oh,
Yeah.
Jesus. I was like, am I doing the show alone? I can do the show alone. I don't mind. I don't have to talk, goddamn.
Like, I was able to catch X-Men today.
You were able to catch up on what now?
I was able to watch X-Men today.
Oh, my God.
And I had such a good time with that. Like, it was an amazing episode. We got some really cool cameos.
Yeah.
Spider-Man, Dr. Doom, Baron Zemo.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
One
it was just
the
very...
shit.
What?
The one day I didn't watch that shit.
Listen, they snuck. They told me, bro, like when you watch it, Spider-Man's actually not going to be in it because
I know
it took too long.
They did that to me in They did that to me in that reprint of fucking Dark Phoenix Saga #1.
I mean, he doesn't do anything.
He senses the Phoenix Force going bad.
In the episode, no.
No, I'm talking about the shit they did to me before. Well, I don't know what the
No,
fuck.
nobody cares about the comics.
I do.
Hey,
Like I said, I stand by my statement.
Damn, he called us.
But it was awesome that he was there, though.
Yeah,
and
no, it was a good episode.
Yeah, really good fights. They do this like super cool sequence where Nightcrawler is teleporting people away from Rogue, and for the last shot, they like follow Nightcrawler through the teleportation. It's just like really cool.
The funny thing is, I know like it's super cool, and I agree, and I feel like, well, maybe not. I was gonna make a prediction on Mo's take on that, but I'm not gonna do it. Let me just leave it alone. Let Mo have his take, because I don't want to influence you.
Did it look like when I colored that portrait of Nightcrawler?
Did it look like what?
No, it didn't.
Okay, Joe answered.
Yeah, he was asking if it looked like that Nightcrawler pic he colored, and it didn't.
Oh,
and dude, we got the catchphrase. Magneto was right.
We did.
Man.
Yeah.
He was looking really good for a man in his 80s at that point? Well, I guess no, it's 97, so maybe 60s.
He's like he's rejuvenated.
He's just floating around in his little tidy blackies, I guess, because they weren't white.
And
I don't think you can say that. I think that's a slur.
And I know they show his tattoo.
Yeah.
Which I don't even think they could have done that back in the day. Like,
couldn't they?
I doubt it.
They kind of like skipped around the whole Holocaust issue.
Yeah, man. It's something else, man. It is a really special show, man. It's like, especially like as an X-Men fan, I'm just like every week. And I think I have to go again with, or agree again with taking Tugboat from a couple episodes back, who was just saying like, you know, he appreciates that it's like an episode a week. Like, I like being able to like take in the episode and like, you know, like as a fan, just to be like, okay, let's all simmer with that one.
Fuck that.
Listen, like I was talking about X-Men fans, Mo, not you.
Because I missed it. Like, if it would have been all at once, I would have finished it.
Well, Mo, I mean, sure, but you didn't miss it. It's still there when you're ready.
I'm over here watching you guys just dick drooling on it and shit. And
yeah, we're over here smoking our cigarettes already, and he's still.
Yeah. Is that a term?
I'm the last man on the train.
No, it's not. No, it's not. I was like, I've never heard that before. I was like, I guarantee you, if mine drools, I'm going to go see a medical professional.
No, it's after the fact when you're all done and it's just the last bits coming out. The kid that will be retarded.
Okay.
In any case, just an amazing episode.
Yeah. Look, you'll get to watch it right after the show, Mo.
No, I'm busy.
Got it. Okay. Oh, jeez, man. So, yeah, like we mentioned before, fantasticforum.live if you want to get down with the conversation, or jump into chat, Twitch, youtube.com/fantasticforum, you know, all those places. Fellas, are you all ready to get into this?
Yeah. What first?
Let's do some Dead Boy Detectives. Y'all good with that? I hope so.
Yeah.
so-so.
No, it's more about gel coat.
When the fourth round would...
Don't you call in?
Doesn't look good already.
Jumbo Scampi for limited.
All right. So the Dead Boy Detectives, new show on Netflix. Like, I feel very, very comfortable and very confident in being able to tell you all that I know little to nothing about the Dead Boy Detectives as comic book characters, but
You don't
fortunately,
need this.
Fortunately, we do have a resident expert in Moses Magnum. So
I wouldn't call myself an expert, but I have seen them and read their miniseries.
I think that puts you head and shoulders above 99% of the population.
Yeah, but,
right? Because
like
Dead Boy Detectives is a little. I mean, it's not super obscure, but it's a bit obscure, right?
It has an omnibus.
I don't think them like. But when were they created?
In like 97.
Okay, so it should have an omnibus, shouldn't it?
Well, they never had any.
They
book.
weren't popular. Then
they didn't have any
get an
book
omnibus.
Like 2017.
They didn't have any book. What?
They didn't have any real like ongoing series or anything till like 2018, 2020, maybe 2019.
Okay.
Like when they started doing the. Well, I guess I'll tell you the history. I guess.
Yeah, tell us the history, Moses.
Like
because you're the resident expert in Dead Boy Detectives.
In the arc of X-Men of Sandman, the season of Mists, you see the story of a boy that when Lucifer got rid of hell and gave the key to Sandman, all these demons and ghosts and stuff left hell and started walking the earth. So this kid, Edwin, he fucking he was haunting his old fucking boarding school where he I can't do the show sober. He's haunting his boarding school where he died essentially. And now there's a lot of ghosts, and there's a kid stuck in there that he got stuck over like the holidays, you know, and so he didn't get to go home. So he got stuck there for that winter break, and the ghosts were haunting all the ghosts of all the people that died there, or teachers that had died there were haunting the school. So he's like forced to go to class by these ghost teachers. He's being tortured by these ghost bullies, just like if the school was in session. And then the kid ends up dying. The second kid, Charles, ends up dying in like 1991 or whatever when that story takes place in Sandman. And he refuses to go with Death. Like, because Death is collecting the kid that should have been. He was sent to hell by mistake because he shouldn't have been there, and so she has to take him to his afterlife, and he doesn't want to go. And he's like, he's my best friend now, so if he's not going, I ain't going. Fuck that. So then Death's like, I'm gonna come for you, but eventually, but I got other shit to handle right now, and true to her word, she does, and that goes into another story with her and Sandman dealing with an immortal guy. So yeah, so she's like, it's more important, I'll deal with that you guys later. And then so now they're evading her, and then like in 2001 they got their own book, like miniseries that Ed Brubaker did, and that's kind of what this show is supposed to be based on, but it's not.
So what are the big changes between, say, like
their
what you would
age?
consider? Well, okay, but
They're like
okay, go for it.
11. They're like 11.
Oh, that is a big change because like both these guys are teenagers or supposed
They're
to
like
be teenagers.
they're like
right?
late teenagers, like 17.
Yeah.
So that changes everything when they're relationship to each other, or like they all have to like want to fuck, which in the kids ones, he can get that little crushes and shit, but that's not part of their little kids. They're more the story is based more on like old British childhood adventure, or like not like these teen melodrama stuff.
Yeah. Also, Dead Boy Detective makes a lot more sense if they're like 11, if they're actually like little boys.
Yeah.
As opposed to like.
So it's like the Little Rascals, but they're ghosts and they're solving crimes, murders.
Like the guys, I maybe see them as like 17 or 18, but that homegirl Crystal, nah, she's like 30.
And the dude Edwin in the schoolboy outfit, that dude looks like he could play in AC/DC. Like he looks like his fetish is to dress like a schoolboy.
Well, she says she's not supposed to be, the character in the show isn't supposed to be a teenager. She says she's 22 or something like that in the show, right?
She's lying though. That's when she's lying to the landlord about her age.
Right.
But she's supposed to be a teen. That's why the landlord keeps her and the Asian girl supposed to be teens.
Are they?
Yeah.
They're supposed to be like 16 or something. That's why Jenny keeps saying, I'm not gonna ask why you guys aren't in school. And we know why the Asian one is in school. She doesn't want to be.
Right.
Yeah. And she doesn't like. This is a Berlanti classic, so you're gonna have a team of people in an office setting, whether it be a bedroom or office they rent, with a library and research materials.
That's funny. Like I didn't realize that she was supposed to be like younger. Because you're right. Like I mean, I wouldn't be like, oh my god, she looks 30, even though she might be. Who knows? She doesn't look older. She just doesn't look young enough to be playing a teenager. Like she doesn't. There's nothing about her that comes across like I'm supposed to be the same age as these guys. Yeah. So I don't know. Like, or maybe she acts too mature. I don't know. Something about it, like
the whole thing with her, like not knowing her own memories and like that, and being possessed and all that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So okay. So
the other
didn't
change,
they also
the immortal? There's like an immortal witch in it, but she's not the killer, and she's not killing kids. She's actually a character that comes out in every like Vertigo book called Mad Hetty. And she just serves as like kind of like the wise one that gives people advice.
Mad Hetty. I've never heard of that character, but
because you don't read Vertigo like that. Not like it's the Sandman, like Constantine, Swamp Thing, like all the ones you didn't read.
Lawrence, you watched the show, right?
I did.
Did you notice that Death was the same actress from the Sandman?
I did. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay,
yeah,
so
absolutely. No,
you did notice something.
Yeah, no. Well, but again, the Mad Hetty thing. Oh, go ahead, Che.
Like, I know who Mad Hetty is.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
So you should know. Like, everything Vertigo I've read, you should have read, I think.
And even like the Spectre stuff, like Spectre War. I think she comes out in like that where they destroy the Rock of Eternity. Like, I think she's one of like, she's not a person of interest there, but it affects her. Like, she affects some because she lives like under the bridge next to like Dr. Fate or something, like, or in England, but I forget who. But they always deal with her in like Constantine books, and I think she comes out in one of the Constantine like animated stuff or her Death animated stuff.
I'm trying to see if I can find a picture of her or whatever, and maybe I just don't.
Oh, good luck! You're not gonna recognize her because everybody draws her different. You got somebody like Jamie Delano doing it, or Sam Keith doing it. It looks like different character.
Really?
Yeah.
It's interesting because I see a movie that keeps coming up, but I don't think that's. It says that's a Swissploitation action.
That's Mad Heidi.
Oh, how do you spell Hetty?
Heddy.
Yeah.
Oh, no wonder.
But yeah.
Huh. Oh, wait, is it? No, it's T's.
2 T's, yeah.
Okay. Oh, huh. Yeah, it's interesting. I'm not sure that I know that character. Like, which, I mean, who knows?
Like
But oh, go ahead.
I feel like she was in Dead.
Yeah.
Like, didn't you read that? I thought we did that for the show.
Yeah, we did read that. That she was in that.
Okay, and yeah, I don't remember. I will say that
you know what?
I've read.
I
What?
remember you were not on that show.
Oh, okay. No.
Yeah, because
no, I think I can't remember, but I remember you knowing what ennui was.
Yes.
And you said you didn't read the book, but you did know what ennui was.
Okay, so yeah,
So
maybe I
guess you yeah. So that's why you don't know. Okay.
But I've read, and don't get me wrong, I'm not gonna sit here and pretend like, oh, I'm like a huge Vertigo guy, but I've read my fair share of Constantine and like Swamp Thing.
Well, you wouldn't call it Constantine if you had.
Come on, man. Listen, I'm talking about the character. I know the book is Hellblazer, but still.
Well, no, there's a book called Constantine, and she ain't in that.
No, yeah, because that's some new 52 stuff. I'm talking about, you know what I'm talking about.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, I don't know what you're talking about. Sound like a Virgo poser to me. It's like, sorry, Mo, for not being exact with the titles. I apologize, goddamn. But yeah, I'm confusing myself. I didn't even realize that witch was supposed to be that, that character, obviously.
No, it's not. It's there's somebody killing these kids, and they're being washed up by the river. And in the show, like first episode, they have a fight with a witch, and she's doing it. She's feeding it to keep her youth. And in the comics, it's like you get 3 issues in, and you still don't know who's killing it, but it ain't that witch, or it ain't Mad Hetty.
Gotcha. The other witch could still theoretically show up. Like, it doesn't have to just be one witch.
What I'm getting at is that these characters aren't really in the comics.
Got you. How about the chick that was infected by the what is it? Dandelion? What were they? Dandelion nymphs, or what were they?
Nico?
Is that
Nico?
Yeah, is that character in the comic?
Not in the ones I read. There's a whole other wave of comics that are the Sandman Universe Presents or whatever. That are the ones when they brought back, Sandman Overture and Sandman Universe. And, the ones that Neil Gaiman has nothing to do with.
Ah, gotcha.
And even low-key, like this show, like it says, created by Matt Wagner and Neil Gaiman. But realistically, it should be like, yeah, I know they created those characters, but everybody that's ever written everything after has not been them. And they're the ones that really cultivate their personalities and stuff. So I think they should be, at the very least, like, thanked. But I don't know if, realistically, I don't think you can even thank Brubaker for this.
Interesting side note: the Jenny the Butcher. That's Penny's from Big Bang Theory's sister.
Yeah, also not in the comic.
Yeah, it's interesting because it kind of felt like at least, I didn't get to watch the entire series or anything, but in the episodes that I did watch, it kind of felt like they really wanted that character to be like, I don't know if I want to say a thing. It just seemed like they kept inserting the character, and I'm not sure that you need that character. Like,
you don't need a lot of these like B stories. You don't need, like, like B and C stories, like Nico trying to set her up, her love interest with the other chick. Like, we don't need that. Like, it's already these are already season 3 problems on the show that is already abbreviated.
in the comics, were they trapped in America like that, or
no?
Because I think
the Cat King,
that
Cat
plot-
King is the thing from they're using the thing from the Sandman animated thing.
that side plot of them being trapped in America started off as like something interesting, but then when you get towards the end, it's like these guys are fucked up because like they take on all these cases in America, and they get to the point that they say we have a full caseload, like we're gonna help all these ghosts, and the second they get the chance, we're fucking right back off to England. Fuck that. Not only are we leaving, but our psychic is coming with us. We might get Asian chick, and we might get the butcher lady. So
in the comics, they just swoosh everywhere,
which
Mm-hmm.
you know would be cool.
Is that the mirror thing?
No, they just swoosh. They're like wherever they think of going, they go. Like teleport. They don't do the mirror thing in the comic.
Scoosh?
Swoosh.
It's like Banff, but in British.
Yeah, but they call it that. The little kids call it that because that's like what they hear when they go.
See,
Like,
that's what I'm trying to figure out because I'm sitting here like spoosh. Like I'm like, is that like a regular thing, or is like? Because I never heard that before. But again, I didn't read.
Dick drooling.
It's Banff in Depression era.
Depression era Banff. Listen, exactly. Like I know, there's definitely a huge part of me that has always considered trying to make Banff a thing that catches on in regular conversation. But
I think it has. I hear it used a lot.
I don't know.
Snick.
You hear it used a lot?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Like without in a context where somebody's not talking about X-Men?
Yeah, like just the concept of popping out from here to there.
Right. Okay. Yeah, man. I would like to do that.
Of course, that generally tends to be a sci-fi or fantasy conversation. So, I mean, the same people. I don't know.
Right.
Like it's not like I'm at work and hey, Banff me that wrench, you know.
No, see, that's not how you use that.
You don't know what I can do with a wrench.
It makes a Banff by sitting on it.
So yeah, Jay, what did you think of? Oh no, you did actually, Jay. You didn't get to see Dead Boy Detectives.
No, I didn't.
Oh,
yeah.
I'm sorry, Jay.
Yeah, Jay didn't get to see it
because you like them in Doom Patrol, right?
They were decent. Like, I mean, yeah, they were fine in Doom Patrol. They were still pretty old. Like,
yeah,
they're not kids.
No,
but like, because they're supposed to be like, I don't know, like they're supposed to be like a twist on like the children's thing, like Courtney Crumrin, but like dark.
Yeah, like Huckleberry Finn and Tom Sawyer.
But I thought they were cool in Doom Patrol. And I do have interest in getting the omnibus if I can get it digitally.
I'll see what I can do.
But yeah, like I didn't need a whole like when I think of characters where I'm like, oh, I want a whole show of them. Like they weren't on my radar for it.
Yeah, this incarnation is kind of closer to like Hardy Boys, I guess, huh?
Like it's
like CW.
It's interesting because
CW Hardy Boys,
like Supernatural.
Yeah,
yeah,
that's really what they're trying to be.
Yeah,
they even have cast members from Supernatural in it.
Well, it's Jeremy Carver, the guy that wrote season 8 and 7, has developed this.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's like not everything needs the Riverdale treatment, especially not Scooby Doo,
especially not Riverdale.
Oz, you got pretty far into the series. How do you feel? Oh, okay. There it is. You finished. I didn't even realize. So, I mean, with that said, what's your like? What was your initial take like watching the beginning episodes, and did it change getting to the end?
I like the first. It was only like what 6-7 episodes, but the first half, like they're actually doing dead boy detective things, like solving cases and stuff, and then like towards the end, and they're just worried about their own problems. But it was entertaining, and it was entertaining enough that I sat through the whole thing.
Right.
I can't say it was like amazing, but it kept my interest enough to keep watching.
It's still well put
Like,
together show. Like the design is good. Even the story is good. It's just not what the comic was.
right, and so
I didn't read the
for
comic.
you, yeah, it's like only Moses has, and Joe wants to. Like, but Mo, like, I know that I mean, you're a fan of these characters because of the space they occupy in the Vertigo, like,
Yeah, like
universe or whatever.
their Vertigo universe had its own crossover, like some sort of crisis, and they were at the base of it. Like it was Dead Boy Detectives, like Children Crusade 1, and then it ended with 2, and then it takes place across every title. And that was a really good story too, called Children's Crusade. And they team up with you got this like magic girl here. Like if you're gonna do that, you could do, and that's gonna be part of the team. Like they could team up with Tim Hunter.
I don't know who Tim Hunter is.
He's the Harry Potter from Vertigo, the Books of Magic character. And
okay.
And he actually, there is like, you can have him be like old here, because there is the story, like if you're gonna age everybody up, like he actually ages up within the comic, so it makes sense that he'd be aged up. A lot of this show felt like if it wasn't exactly like the comic, like if they didn't try to make it feel like the comic, like use the basis of the stories or the cases, like at least the main case, it would probably feel like more, and it actually kind of does feel more like a sequel to Dead Boy Detective, especially with them being aged up. But ghosts don't age, but also ghosts don't really like. I mean, do they even like learn from their mistakes and shit? Like that's the whole point, that they're ghosts, right? Like they can't move on. Like
I mean,
so that's a whole weird concept. Like it's literary like armor or something, like story plot. Armor. So it's like, who says they can't age up here?
Yeah, and so from your perspective, like I know you're not saying, or at least based on what I heard, it doesn't sound like you're saying you think it's a bad show. It's just different from the comic.
Yeah, it's just different from the comic. As a fan of the comic, I hate it, but as a fan of like Netflix short, fun, almost unique story series, like I like it. Yeah.
Okay, so my question for you is, do you feel like it would be a better show if it was closer to the comic?
I don't think people would like it, like the demographic. Like I don't think people want to watch little kids do shit like that are ghosts. Like part of the fun in the comic, or what I like in the comic, is that not only are they kids, so adults just ignore them. The adults that can see them just think, oh, these little kids running around, badass kids, and leave them. And they can get away with like sneaking into the mortuary and shit, and that's what helps them move the story along. And then whereas here it's like they have to either possess body, or they do a thing where they switch into a physical form, which that like they have to do that. And in the comics, like they found more creative ways of dealing with those issues, and the type of, and I guess because it is within the universe of the comic, they have like they can talk to a Mad Hetty, like they can't open. She lives under a bridge in a hut, and they can't open the door, but there's no lock, and it's like locked, and they're like, what? And he's like, oh, she's a witch. Oh, there's a lock, and he just takes 2 chicken bones and puts them apart, like splits them apart. They were put in an X, and then the door opens, And then they're trying to. She's like fighting them because they think she's the witch killing the kids, and they actually like interact with like the physical stuff in their house. But it's not so much that they're doing it because they're ghosts and they can do that now. It's because her house is enchanted where she needs to be able to hurt them if they're gonna hurt her. So, so when they try to like tackle her and scoosh out, they're like, scoosh out. It's like, I can't. Like, and she's like, you can't get away from me, boy. You know, like it's like you're lucky I'm the good person here. You know, and I don't see you as a bad person. But if it was the other way around, you'd be in trouble, ghost or not. You know, and that like just gets that moments like that get. It's why I fucking love comics. You know, they can't do that shit here. Like they have their own things here, but it's mainly that character they use for that witch with the giant snake in their under her sink. You know, like that's the shit they do for the show. That's kind of cool and creative and a little different than other stuff. But so, you know, again, if I look at it like it feels more like a sequel to me, it's probably a good thing for the show where I can kind of enjoy two of them. Yeah, then they change the backstory on Charles, and that's you know. And
is that the demonic sacrifice stuff?
No, he was killed by ghosts and ghost bullies.
Oh no, it's Edwin, right?
Yeah, he got beat up in school and they left him locked in the attic, so he died of blood loss and hypothermia.
Sheesh.
And so nobody went back to look for him or anything. So and that's the whole point of these kids wanting to solve these crimes is because they're happening to kids that were ignored. And I think they do touch on that here.
They did
on the show a little, and that felt good to hear it. And then, but you know, and yeah, them being little kids, and you know, they touched on the demon that like the emotion vampire or whatever, emotion eating demon that escaped hell, and he's like, they're not good, they're all crawling, you know. So they reference him like being in hell several times, but I don't know if they're gonna reference the Sandman stuff because I don't think they even have. I don't think they've done that in Sandman yet. So yeah, like yeah.
Okay. I know for myself, like, you know, from what I saw, which I only got to watch, I want to say like 3 episodes. I liked it, but at the same time, I definitely felt like, okay, I just from what little I know this isn't like the book. You know, like just that much I knew, but I couldn't say that, you know, I was like, oh, I need, you know, I need it to be different because it was a good time. At least, you know, from what I watched. I feel like it's definitely enough of its own thing. Like, even though it feels similar to, you know, shows like Supernatural, and of course, you know, it's going to feel a little bit like a Constantine, maybe. It definitely feels like it, while those things might be influences, it feels like it's doing its own thing enough that it kind of stands on its own. And like, you know, I think you wish you had what?
I wish I had more of the Doom Patrol effect, where it's like it's different but similar enough, you know?
Right.
Where I feel like this doesn't have that similar enough part, but it's different, and I guess it's okay. It's enjoyable, you know?
Yeah, I mean, it definitely feels like, or at least based on what you're saying and what you've, you know, informed myself and the rest of the audience on, that, you know, they kind of took a Guardians of the Galaxy kind of approach to this, right?
Oh, I wouldn't call it that bad. No.
Yeah,
no.
You don't think where they were just like nobody knows, so we can do what we want.
Yeah. No, like I feel like that's what they did with Guardians. I feel with this, it's like, well, you gotta kind of, you know, you gotta have some of these things, you know. So it's still, like I said, it feels almost like a sequel to it,
right?
And you know, than just a bastardization of it, you know.
Yeah, I hear that, and look, that's good for Dead Boy Detective fans, and you know, I'm sure that wasn't on purpose. Like, I don't that might have been a happy accident but maybe not. I don't know. Maybe there is somebody there that's like, no, we got to make it
I
like
think
this.
Emily liked it, but I don't know. I haven't talked to her about it. They told her to save it for the air.
tell Emily, grab a mic. Tell her call in. Fifth member of Fantastic
I have
Forum.
the mic for her, but she doesn't want to do it. So
Man,
if
she
you can,
she doesn't have to be on camera. She could just talk to the mic.
I told her if she can, she could do it in chat.
That sounds good. Disembodied spirit of Emily voice.
Yeah.
But Oz, you got anything else you want to say about Dead Boy Detectives before we rate it?
No, I think you guys covered it pretty good.
Yeah. Oh, Emily's in chat. Is that a peace sign? What is that?
Yeah, she says, "Fuck you, I'm not talking."
That makes sense. Makes sense.
Let's see, what else do I have to say about it? Yeah, it definitely wasn't as bad as I thought it would have been. Like, but again, the people behind it are like, it's the Jeremy Carver dude that did Doom Patrol. So it's like he kind of, I guess he kind of knows how to kind of maneuver it in a way that it can still be good. It can still be, it wouldn't be, you know. But yeah.
Like, is it adapted? Oh, go ahead.
I definitely don't like the Berlanti, like, occupational, like, base of operations shit like that. Like, the comic does have that, but it's a treehouse. It's a haunted treehouse that they haunt, like, you know, and that's it. You know, it's not like a library and with a West Wing, and you know.
Yeah, how do they have an office in England? Like, like they're ghosts. Who they paying rent to?
They just haunt it. No one wants to buy it. No one wants to rent a haunted office. Yeah, but no, I don't know. I like it. I will say this: it is a bit unfortunate because I know for myself, I was like, oh, okay, like I was liking the London vibe, and then when they ended up being trapped in America, I was like, oh, that's kind of unfortunate. You know what I'm saying? Like, not because there's anything wrong with them going to America. It's just I was thinking like, oh, okay, like we're in London and now we're, you know, they're in Washington, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is it Washington? Right. Now they're in Washington, and I'm just like, oh, it's cool. Like they're gonna like bounce around, and then now they get locked in that town, and I'm just like, oh, that's a little unfortunate. Even though, the other aspect of it is just like, okay, it does make for like some interesting potential stories because, you know, you have like the different plot points that are happening in that city. But I would have been fine with them being in England. And I guess it's just one of those things where it's like, you know, sometimes, especially when you're talking about Hollywood, right? Like we have a America focused kind of deal. So, you know, but I think American audiences would have been fine in England. But, you know, what do I know?
There's a series, or I think it's a one shot. But Jill Thompson did it, and they're in Chicago in that one.
Mm-hmm.
Like they're stuck in Chicago, but it's like they travel all over the world, but general. So it's not that strange that they would come to America,
right?
Like, and I forget what it's called, but it's like a manga essentially. It's like drawn like a manga, but it's Dead Boy Detectives and death, and like it's like a new story, but it's also the retelling of their origin through Death's perspective, not their perspective. You know?
Yeah, I would definitely, like, I don't have any problem with them coming to America and having adventures in the city. I think it was just more so the idea that, okay, they're only going to be in the city in America and in the city. And I'm like, oh, but it's okay. Like I would, like I said, it's not like it made it unenjoyable or less enjoyable per se. I was just, you know, yeah. But I think the question I really want to ask you, Mo, is it recognizable enough as in the adaptation that, you know, like say if it didn't have the title, would you know what you were watching? Would you realize like, okay, this is Dead Boy Detectives?
Their personalities are all different. Like they're very even their friendship that they have, it's kind of like a crush kind of thing. Whereas in the other, they're just like little boys that are best friends and they look out for you.
Yeah, but you
God
said they're
bless
like
you.
11, so you can't
Thank you.
you can't have that plot point. God damn, if Berlanti's
That's what I'm saying. That's what makes it unrecognizable.
you can't even have the Cat King subplot.
No, well, the Cat King that's the thing what they couldn't do in Sandman, they did here, which have that like the yeah, that's so dumb. They do use like cats in the comic, but not like that. Like they give them information and shit because they watch everything, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
and they communicate with each other. But yeah,
Okay. Well, let's do some ratings. So, Oz, what would you rate Dead Boy Detectives?
I'll probably go with like 3.5. Like I don't think it's a great show, but I don't regret watching it. You know, they got me to watch the whole thing.
yeah.
And those episodes are a long ass hour.
Are all the episodes an hour?
Yeah, about. I mean, they might be like in 40 something.
Well, they have like three unnecessary subplots in it. So
I didn't realize they were that long. I felt like they went by pretty quick.
Oh,
yeah, you also only watched like 2 episodes.
I watched 3.
Yeah, like 2, but 3.
Oh, okay.
I just busted your balls, Larry.
So okay, cool. Mose Magnum, what would you rate Dead Boy Detectives?
I would give it a 4. I still enjoyed it, and I enjoyed the little supernatural aspect and the detective. The dude playing Charles, like he's a really good actor, and he's really good at like performing that part. Like especially when you don't know Larry, but when he starts getting into like his whole like demeanor is part of him hiding how he really feels about shit. It just changes a whole other dynamic to that character that's pretty cool. But again, that comes from changing it from the comics, like making his backstory not what it is in the comics. Yeah. So
Gotcha.
yeah. But that guy plays that well.
Okay. As for myself, I would give it a 4 as well. I thought it was good. I enjoyed it. You know, it's not. It definitely is doing enough to justify its existence, and you know, it's definitely entertaining. It's not.
We don't need more, do we?
Do we need more? You said.
Yeah, like we don't need any more, do we?
Oh, you like this is one season done, one and done.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, like obviously, you know, Netflix will ultimately decide if they want to invest in another season of this or not. But I know for myself, from what I've seen, I'm like, you know, it's not breaking any new ground, but it's definitely doing enough, I think, to justify its existence. Like it's, you know, it doesn't feel like it's retreading too much. So, yeah, I'm definitely gonna finish. Yeah, or at least I plan on finishing. Let's put it like that. I guess the test will ultimately be, you know, if I get back to it and when. So, Jay, we can't hear you. You're muted. What'd you say, Jay?
I was just asking if you finished Has Been Hotel yet.
I haven't. Look, I should have been like, oh, I'm sorry, Jay, I can't hear you. You're muted.
Yeah.
But no, I haven't yet. And see, and yeah, exactly. That's where I'm like, I need to finish Has Been Hotel. Like, so I don't know that I have the bandwidth to get back to Dead Boy soon. Dead Boys or Dead Boy Detectives.
That's why I try to watch as much as I could over the weekend. Like, cause I'm like, I don't know if I'm gonna get back to it. Like, if I finish one season, I can potentially enjoy it because the ending might merit all this. And then, but now I'm like, who knows?
Right. So, Jay, what would you rate the review before we move on?
Well, real quick, Burr says
Jay's
all I know
already.
about Has Been Hotel is that crazy fan video that was commissioned of it. Man, that video is crazy. Yeah.
Put it in our Discord.
Dude, I can try. Like, it is hard to find the full video.
So, Dead Boy Detectives review, Joe?
I mean, realistically, the review suffers from, I think, what a lot of the reviews suffer. It's like, instead of just having a nice, clean ending, you start to end and then you just transit back into the review for more stuff. And it's like, you could have just had a nice, clean ending. And so, it's hard to rate highly when this is happening. It makes the review a lot less concise. So I would give this review a 3.
I blame Lauren.
I'm just happy we got the 3. I was like, I might
lost all control of the show.
Heck says this Has Been Hotel, that game where the assholes are like pools closed. No, I don't know what that is. Has Been Hotel is
party,
the Amazon original cartoon about the Princess of Hell trying to redeem sinners and get them to heaven to avoid extermination.
That is Has Been Hotel. So, all right. You guys ready to talk about some Crisis on Infinite Earths Part 2?
Yeah.
Okay. Listen, I'm just going to start being like, yeah, I'm...
Comic book theater.
Shout out to Tiger Claw for comic book theater. All right. Oz, why don't you tell us about Justice League Crisis on Infinite Earths Part 2?
It's the sequel to Crisis on Infinite Earths Part 1.
What?
It's the latest DC animated from the Tomorrowverse, and just goes to show that eventually all these universes start to decline and decay into shit, because the DC animated used to be like the standard. The movies were the crap, and you go into the DC animated and you're getting some quality stuff. And we talked about Part 1 when that came out, and I think you guys enjoyed it, but you don't know any better. And yeah, this Part 2 is just continues that downward spiral of shittiness at DC. It's like it's like the poops coming out like like soft serve. It's just getting bigger.
Listen.
So you didn't like it because it's different, or just in general?
Just in general, it's I guess we're already in it. It was like really disjointed. Stuff happens that doesn't you don't. Stuff happens in this movie that you can you have to do some detective work to kind of figure out how it affects the plot later on. Like when Supergirl gets a piece of the power cosmic from the Monitor. Like they don't okay, so she's got that. Now what? I assume that's what made her be able to do what she does when she fucks him up, but nobody had shot him at that point or showed any that he's resistant to anything. So we don't know that. Psycho Pirate gets a piece of it too. I assume that's the reason he was able to affect such a large area, but they don't really.
No, they literally say that in the movie.
Yeah, I do agree that the Psycho Pirate thing, they definitely establish pretty well, but I think you're absolutely right with the Supergirl thing, where you can definitely make the inference, but Oh, jeez. 2 versus 1 cup says heck.
That's about right. The coolest part about this movie was the interaction between this young Batman and the Bat family. But I still think that was done wrong. Like you don't need Huntress there. I would rather have Red Hood
or spoiler.
No, Red Hood and make Grayson be Nightwing at that point, because now you have more perspectives to give to this Batman that can't believe that he would bring children into battle, and he's making the assumption that look, it's dangerous. I don't know why I would do that. A Red Hood, because shit will happen. Like I died for this crusade, but you know what? I got a second chance and I came back. Like that's an interesting conversation between those characters. Grayson already being Nightwing, like he becomes Nightwing because he doesn't want to quite be like Batman, and that's another good conversation they could have. They have Damian, and that's cool because he's like, "Hey, you're my fucking father. Like, I wasn't gonna kill him."
Right.
You don't need Huntress, and it kind of bugs me that they keep trying to use the Helena Wayne. Because even the comics don't do anything with that. Like it has its potential, but they never really do anything with her. She's always been more interesting when she's the mob princess. Like that story is a little bit more interesting. So yeah, that's stupid. And I didn't mention Tim Drake because DC never knows what the hell to do with him. Nobody likes him.
It's so true. It's so true.
No,
it's interesting
about Tim Drake.
It's
but that's it.
It's interesting your take, Oz, because I will say that I definitely remember thinking that the first movie was decent. It wasn't great. It was decent, but I do feel like this joint was objectively worse, and it is like definitely disjointed. And it's crazy because it's like, again, not necessarily being like thinking the first one was like amazing. It's like I don't feel like it has enough room to like not be as good.
Well,
and then I was just like,
the first one was a lot more like 3 different cartoons because you had different stories.
Right.
And that kind of like it was still disjointed, but it kind of had a overarching theme.
Yeah, 100%.
Whereas this
like
one,
it ties together at the end.
Yeah, and this one it's like one story, but it's like just all over the place. Like it feels like
it really is.
When you think of like how much time they have to do it in, because they do a feature length and they're doing multiple ones because we're doing 4 of them or 3 of them.
Dude,
3.
See, and this is the thing, like me and my memory, it ended, and I was like, wait, there's another part to this. Like, I know that I probably said that when you did the first part, the first time. I don't remember that it's going to be a third part, and I'm just like, dude, we don't need a third part of this. Like, in the sense that the things that are happening in part 2, I'm sure could have been condensed, and we could have gotten through this whole thing in.
Well, it's not like they're going to answer, some of those in part 3 either. So it's like
you don't need the whole Supergirl hanging out with the Monitor for all that time. Like,
and that's the thing about it's what I liked about it at first, and then watching it because I liked how much they focused on her and Psycho Pirate, and then having it play out, they're still showing a lot more of other stuff, and it's like it's almost like if I'm reading the Crisis series, but like skipping issues. Like
right.
Yeah, that's what it feels
like. It does feel like that.
That's actually a better analogy than disjointed because okay.
It's like I got to go to the quarter bin 10 years from now. Hopefully, I can find that issue.
Right.
That's DC. They make you pick up the Catwoman book.
100%.
Just the one book to tie it in. So you know what happened.
I can't wait till they make the Nightmare.
Which technically this did too, because if you didn't watch the Supergirl movie, like you don't like because they actually watch film, they actually watch video of stuff that happens in that Supergirl movie.
Yeah, a lot of
it.
Because even in I think for Psycho Pirate too, because he wasn't in another one. But
I don't know.
I don't remember that.
I like the Spectre in this.
The Spectre was good, but that's the thing too. Like even the conversation between Supergirl and Psycho Pirate, and she's like, "What are you? Some sort of what she say? Some sort of psychotic pirate or something?"
Yeah.
And I'm just like, how do you look at that costume and make that there's nothing about the costume that says psychotic or pirate. And he's like, yeah, like I didn't realize that's what it was until you said it out loud. You're a psycho pirate. And it's like, dude, if y'all don't stop with this, like this is nonsense. It's nonsense. And I'm just like, are we supposed to just all like, who is that? I don't even know who it's for. Like, if you just want to say he's called Psycho Pirate, and that's fine, because, you know, it was tough coming up with names back in the day or whatever. But it's like, you know, maybe somebody was uncreative or they ran out. I don't know. But if you just want to say his name, Psycho Pirate, fine. But trying to convince us that that line of, like, that makes sense. It's like, that doesn't make sense to adults. It doesn't make sense to children. It makes sense to no one. So I'm just like, why? Why? You like it?
Yeah, I mean, but like again, it's still not even like the right Psycho Pirate. Like, it's the wrong character. Because like one's like a hyper empath, and one is just a dude that just like manipulates people, but not like telepathically or emotionally. Like,
oh, he's both.
He's almost like Calendar Man, you know. Like, so,
gotcha.
Yeah. But that's, I mean, they amalgamated the two, I guess, and then
right.
Because the other one's more like a
Mo froze.
His will, yeah.
Oh, you froze for a second, Mo. Say that last 2 lines again.
He eventually does get like his ability to project his will into people and get him to do it. But honestly, like this version of Psycho Pirate, I like better than both of those.
Yeah,
so, like, his story and everything. I'm like, man, this is actually pretty good. Like, I would have just watched the Psycho Pirate movie.
I agree with you. Like the Psycho Pirate character in this,
like even the voice, the acting, the design, it all like the whole thing with Dr. Fate, like, so good.
It is one of the better parts of the movie, without question. And you're right. Like I feel like that character and that performance is definitely worthy of its own exploration and would be probably a better movie than what we watched, in my opinion. But you know. Jay, why don't you jump in here, man? What's your take on this movie?
Oh, I love this movie. But I think you all knew that.
We may have suspected.
Yeah, I just had a really good time watching it. I like the Supergirl stuff. I like the Monitor. I like how we get to see like other Earths responding to the crisis. I love Wonder Woman going out to help that planet ruled by Amazons. Yeah, I just had a really good time with this movie and the characters, and you know, the Psycho Pirate line was a little weird, but if you squint, he does kind of look piratey.
He does not.
Yeah,
you don't look like any version of a pirate. You don't look like a real pirate. You don't look like a romanticized pirate. You don't look like a JRPG pirate.
Speaking of
dude, you don't read
comics.
Legion of Superheroes.
What's that have to do with anything?
I'm saying she was in the future for like years. You don't know what pirates are like in the year 3000.
Oh, come on, man. So we're gonna say that he looks like a future pirate? Is that and he knows that because he's seen the future?
No, I just think like when I squinted, it looked piratey. So
he looked like a jester. He looked like a clown.
He looks like what is it?
That's what pirates look like.
Mr. Terrific.
No.
Pirates look like clowns.
He looks like Mr. Terrific.
Pirates are
face
clowns.
paint.
Not Mr. Terrific. The other one,
that says Jay isn't jaded like the rest of you. And that's true.
This movie literally had a Martha moment.
Had a what?
It had a Martha moment.
Oh, Commandy.
It did.
Like,
what's your name?
Was dope.
John Stewart. Oh, John. Yes. That's it. Done. I remember now. Come on.
Yeah, that was bad too. I do remember thinking that. I was just like,
Yeah, I liked it. I like the Commandy stuff.
I like the Commandy. I love Commandy's design. Like it looks like the comics. Like very Kirby. What I didn't like is how fast their relationship like grew. Like that. It's like you shouldn't be crying for him like that just yet. Like, but again, we don't know how much time passed there for them. You know, like that's part of the disjointed thing. But it's also like this part of this is time space is very different for everybody right here. You know.
yeah, it's a very
yeah.
Oh,
Like,
go ahead,
I love this movie. Honestly, I like it even better than the first one, and I like the first one, but.
Okay.
I think it's more like I'm more of a Supergirl fan than a Flash fan. Mm-hmm. So I think that kind of helped or kind of brought me to the tipping point, I think, for liking it a little more. Mm-hmm. And yeah, I love the Bat Family stuff. Yeah. What can I say? I just really like the movie.
Batman had some hard lines in this one. Like, dude said something that's like, oh, that was badass.
Yeah, that's true.
Badass.
I'm really glad I sent you to the to the orphanage. Like when he told that.
No, I was thinking of who died and made you whatever.
Everyone.
Earth 3.
Yeah.
Right. That's true. The only thing that I was like, well, not the only thing. Another thing I was disappointed by. First of all, for a whole for a minute, I was like, okay, Batman Beyond is there, and I'm like, are these fools gonna have Batman Beyond, and they're not gonna have him talk at all? Like he doesn't even get like a line, you know? But he did get a line, which and then that even made me a little bit more mad because I feel like they were like, okay, so they knew that Batman Beyond needed to be involved a little bit more, but then they're like, well, we only got room for one line, and it's like, dude,
they might have cut him out because the actor was in that documentary about pedophiles.
Well, no, because it's the same actor that did the Commandy voice.
Oh, okay.
See, so listen, what we could have done was cut the Commandy stuff in half, and then put a little bit of Batman Beyond in there, or maybe not half, maybe a quarter.
If you cut it in half, like there's nothing.
Listen, Commandy got more screen time than Batman Beyond, definitely.
Yeah, like, but he's in an ensemble. Like Commandy's literally the last boy on Earth. Like
I hear you. Right,
he's competing against and that's family dynamics right there. Bat family dynamics. Look, he's competing for attention from the dad.
Then the other aspect that I was like, damn, they put Batwing in, and of course, Batwing. I'm like, damn, Batwing just got shown. Batwing didn't even get to do anything. I'm like, dude, where? Like, why are we even? I think the part that really hurt was because it's like, don't get me wrong, I'm not going to mess around and pretend like I'm a huge Batwing fan, but I do appreciate and enjoy the character. Huh?
You used to hate him back in the day.
I never hated him. I just,
he was tolerant.
You didn't watch him in Supergirl in Batwoman.
Oh, come on, man. No. But anyway,
he was pretty dope there.
The part that
retarded but dope.
You dopey.
Just keep going. Just keep going.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you. The part that blew my mind was like, okay, they showed Batwing, and it looked like it was like the actual like African Batwing, like David. What's his last name? Zavimbe?
Islam?
What?
Yusuf Islam? Like
no,
wasn't he a Muslim?
No.
Oh no, that was the other. No, sorry, that was the other. The Green Lantern. Sorry.
Moses out here confusing all the people of color. So,
It's blue and
thank
green.
you, Burr.
Blue and green.
Zavimbe. So thank you. So yeah, David Zavimbe, which I'm like, dude, that Batwing is the best Batwing in my opinion. Like I like that version of Batwing. Don't get me wrong, the Luke Fox one is okay. But like they didn't need to do like they, again, it was kind of like they were like, can't have them like be overdoing African stuff. Like that, like you can't just have him over there. He needs to be in America, and it's like,
well, that's when they were like reining in Batman Inc.
Yeah. So I don't know, man. I was just like, he's here, a version of this character that we basically like only got a little taste of. Mayor prefers his Batwing 100% Congolese African. So, and he did nothing. I'm like, why do you even show him? Like, might as well just like not put him in there.
Well, Peacemaker didn't do anything either.
Neither did the Creeper.
Wait, now you're talking about the scene where they literally had like a room full of heroes that they need to fill out, right?
Right.
Okay, I'm talking about a scene where it's the Bat family, and it's like it's only 6 people. Like, what I'm saying? Like you don't need that Batwing to make that scene flesh out. In fact, not only do you not need him, it feels like an insult when you just show him on the screen and that's it. It's like, huh?
If you blink, you'll miss him.
Right. Exactly. Like, don't mess around and like have that be the moment where you reach down for your drink. Because if you have your soda on the floor and you reach down at that moment, you're done. Like you're just like, and somebody's talking to you like, damn, it was crazy how Batwing was in it. And they're like, when?
Nah, because like they let you know it's happening. They say Bat family assemble, and so like you're gonna look up.
Okay, I guess. I don't know, man. So weird. Yeah, I don't know. Okay.
Anyone have any issues with the animation?
I liked it. I like the designs. I like the style they've been doing. I know some people had issues with it last time, or even this Tomorrowverse as a whole, but I've enjoyed it.
It's okay. It's like one of those things where it's not the animation style itself. It just feels like it's crazy because, especially like watching, which I would not have thought I would have been saying this before it came out. Watching episodes of X-Men 97 and watching like these DC movies, I would not have thought that those two joints were happening in the same era of animation. You know what I mean? Like I would have been like, in my mind, which I was not expecting from X-Men 97. I was totally thinking X-Men 97 was going to be like the old style, and obviously it's going to be more modern, like as far as like cleaned up a little bit, but I didn't think it was going to be like do any kind of dynamic animation stuff. And then to contrast that with like, which kind of goes to the point I was making, where it's like DC like animated stuff was really what you would go to for that back in the day, at least. You know what I mean? And I'm like, at this point, I'm just like, man, like everything seems like real static. Like I was just thinking, like, what made me really what really made me think about that while I was watching this movie was the scene where you have Supergirl and Superman, and they're using their heat vision to fight like the shadow monsters or whatever. And I was just like, I feel like even like in like Superman, like the animated series, I feel like the Superman using his heat vision in this way and like more intensely and stuff would have been a much more dynamic scene, even in that show that was made, what was that, late 90s?
Mid-90s, yeah.
And I'm watching this and I'm just like, why is this like, why does it feel so static? You know what I'm saying? Like, even it doesn't, there's no part of it that feels like, you know, like, oh man, like Superman's like, I didn't feel like Superman or Supergirl were like, they're really letting it rip. They're unleashing this high powered, you know, heat vision. And I'm just like, man, that's unfortunate. Like what they did was serviceable, like, you know, but it definitely kind of feels like a little phoned in regards to like how they put the animation together. You know what I mean? And I'm just like, man, that's disappointing for DC animated.
I blame it on
Speaking of, dude, Cyclops, when they animated his optic blast, like shooting through the mountain.
With the reviews.
What?
This is the problem with the reviews. We're not going to have a concise review.
Yeah, it's one of the problems. Yeah, but I mean, he's bringing up X-Men, and optic blasts are comparable to heat vision, and the way they did his was like really good.
Yeah, no, I agree, 100%. What were you gonna say, Mo?
No, nothing.
You were gonna say something before.
No, I just said it. I blame it on inflation. That's all.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah.
They finally made Sunspot the right color in this last episode.
Oh, listen.
Hey,
Wait.
I said that last week.
You did. And, you know, yeah, he used his power, and so he was the right color when he used his power.
Conciseness.
Again, though, when this fool messed around and they showed the first scene with him, I was like, damn, Oz was right. Like, they made him lighter again. But then the scene after that, he was like the same level of lightness he was in the episode before. And so I was like, okay, it was just like one scene where I guess somebody forgot to add like a little bit more tone. I don't know. But I was just like, damn, like Sunspot looks white damn near.
I sent that message because I saw like 3 episodes in a row. And yeah every time they showed, I'm like,
100%. 100%. Like the first episode was definitely like where that like he was his darkest. And I'm like, did somebody literally send a note to be like, let's not get crazy with the Sunspot?
Dan
Roberto
Slott actually talks about that.
What did he say?
He was saying in his comics, you know, at a certain point, you're telling them, yeah, they need to be this tone. But then eventually down the line, sometimes the character will just end up being lighter. Like you're not watching it as closely, and especially if it's not like not the main character. Like sometimes the extra side characters will like just end up being a lot lighter if you're not watching it like constantly.
Look, we've all had printers run out of ink.
I mean,
well, that's the whole thing too with like the Green Hulk and Gray Hulk and Blue Beast and Gray Beast. You know, like it's.
I don't think that's the same thing.
Well, sometimes when they print them, or you know, it comes out different.
So, are we ready to rate Justice League?
I don't know. Sounds like we're still on X-Men 97.
Yeah.
So I'll go first. Dude, I give Justice League Crisis on Infinite Earths Part 2 a 4 out of 5. Really good action. I like the stories. I like seeing the extra bits, the tangents, if you would, that they go on. And yeah, just a really good, enjoyable. Like I like the Anti-Monitor. I like how the setup for the next part. Like I think it's all really well done and put together.
Okay. Do you think the Anti-Monitor is going to look like the Anti-Monitor in the next movie? Or no?
I don't know who the Anti-Monitor is.
Oh, jeez.
Like in general, like from the original Crisis.
I just started. I never read it before. I just bought it, so I'm going to read it. And by the time the part 3 comes out, I will have read it. But yeah, this is just one of those classic storylines one of these seminal storylines that I've just never gotten around to reading.
You can't read them all, I guess.
I mean,
Well, that
he
and
showed up
with
all
comics,
the time. Like
like,
he
it's
showed
like
up in Darkest Night too.
It's true.
if you have
Yeah,
friends,
again, that stupid bitch did not put the omnibus digital. It's only hardcover.
What bitch?
Marv Wolfman.
The bitch in charge of DC Digital.
He only calls her a bitch because he doesn't know the gender. Like that's just a general term.
No, it's a woman that's in charge of. I don't remember her name, but basically, there's a Blackest Night omnibus because when it came out, I only read a few of them, and then I lost my entire collection. So, like, I owned it, but hadn't finished it, and so I wanted to get the omnibus, but it's only in hardcover, and the person responsible for that is a woman, and I called her a bitch, and I guess that's not woke. We're not supposed to call women bitches anymore.
It's not
But
Well, you should know her name so that we know. So we could call her that too when we meet her.
Of
course, if they put a woman in charge, you know the comics aren't going to be right.
Oh, Jesus, man.
I just want my digital omnibus of Blackest Night so I can read it in the order it's supposed to be in. And I don't want to buy a $100 hardcover that I don't even have any place to put it. Like, there's no way. I have a small apartment, a tiny apartment. I don't have room for a bunch of big ass hardcover omnibuses. And yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Bitch.
Oh, there. Jesus, Joe. Come on, man.
Well,
Listen.
I'm sorry, I'm not woke enough.
Listen. Moses Magnum, what would you rate Crisis on Infinite Earths Part 2?
I'm glad you didn't ask me to review this review. No, I'll give it a 3.5. Like, I enjoyed like the segments. I enjoyed it as a whole. Like, I don't really expect a lot from these. I mean, yeah, we had everybody goes back to the days of DC animated, but fuck, like Bruce Timm and Dwayne McDuffie are dead. So what the fuck you think you're gonna get? You know,
Bruce Timm isn't dead.
Did Bruce Timm die?
When did he die?
Oh, okay, sorry.
No, Bruce Timm is alive and well.
Oh,
and he's working on Batman.
All right.
was like,
sorry.
I'm like, I underbid for that sketch.
Hey. Sorry. Hey, anywho, yeah. So I don't expect. Why was I crying so much that day then? No, I just don't expect shit to be that great ever. So, like as long as I can enjoy it, that's the best I can hope for. So, 3 out of 5.
Look, I'm like, friggin' just a few years ago was friggin' damn it. You know what I'm talking about, Joe.
I don't know what you're talking about, but I think I don't like that either. I didn't like that either.
You do.
What is it?
Young Justice.
I don't watch Young Justice. I didn't like it when it came out, and then when it came back, I started watching it, but I only watched a few episodes.
I'm just saying Young Justice is a much better put together everything than this. And it's like, that was not that long ago.
Greg Weisman is amazing.
I'm not
right.
He's great.
Right. And
notice that there wasn't a Flash on a motorcycle later.
What's that have to do with any? Like what?
That's what I didn't like about the original.
Yeah, but listen, y'all get caught up on some small stuff at the beginning and miss amazing television. You out the same way how y'all were like, oh, slingshot, like lightsaber slingshot. It's like, dude, like if y'all would just watch good stuff.
No, it's okay.
Anyway, Oz,
we're too busy.
What would you rate?
I'm gonna go with. I'm gonna go with 3 because it's not a good movie, but anytime Batman gets on, like Batman has a lot of amazing moments, even though I pointed out they could have been better if they were more thought out. I like Supergirl, and even though I don't like her sitting to dinner with the Monitor for however many years, like she's still an interesting character, and I have to like it becomes a must watch because now there's like a part 4. I really thought this was going to be the end of it.
No, there are
There's
only
at least
3
a part
parts.
3. Okay, well, there's still another part. Is my point. So for that to make any sense, I'm going to assume you have to have watched this, even though this barely made any sense. With me having watched the Supergirl movie and part 1, so I think I'm just going to stick at 3 for now.
Yeah. Listen, I'm gonna give it a 2.5. I'm surprised I disliked it more than anybody else, but
it didn't give you any merit that made you like Psycho Pirate. Like I feel like that's a character you would hate in every other medium.
And that could be true. I'll give it its props for that. I think that's why we're at 2.5. But it's just, honestly, it's just one of those things where it's like there's a lot of like, it just feels as though there are people that are in this that are acting, and I should appreciate what they do more, and I don't, or I can't, because the way that it's paced or the way that it's written just doesn't work. You know what I'm saying? Look, friggin' isn't it like, oh boy, Hawkman, it's him as Jon Stewart, right? I'm sorry. Aldous Hodge, who played Hawkman in Black Adam, right? Everybody's like, I don't know that guy, but okay, I'm pretty sure.
Oh, Aldous Hodge. Yeah, I know him.
Yeah. So he played Hawkman.
Not sure.
I'm pretty sure that's the same dude that played Hawkman in Black Adam, which is probably one of the best.
No, you're right.
One of the best parts of that movie. Him and friggin'
Alec, or not Alec.
Pierce Brosnan.
Right.
Like,
yeah.
Like those are like is the better parts of that movie. Like him playing Jon Stewart should be like a thing where I'm like, wow, like I'm excited to see that role happen. And it's just like it was just super regular because all of Jon Stewart doesn't get the Batman treatment with the cool ass lines. And the things that they have him doing are just like,
But he says his name is John.
Right. Exactly. Right. And so it's just like, I don't know. So it didn't do it for me. And I'm like, I wanted to, like, I was actually
battery.
Right. I was looking forward to watching this flick just because the last one I enjoyed and I thought it would be like on the same level. And it wasn't, and that was disappointing. So yeah, 2.5. The
Review. Review. Well, not like that, but like.
Indeed. All right. You guys ready to talk about some Dawnrunner?
Yes.
Oh, jeez. Oh, man. Is that what it did to you, Mo? That's what it did to you? Oh, my God.
It is, like, so forgettable. I thought we were going to do comic book news. Like, I'm like, I started looking at the articles. Kind of like, oh, we still have time. Like, we did good today.
This is one of your books. Like, you brought it up.
Who, I did?
Yeah, I thought you did.
No, I did want to read it when I saw it. Like, don't get me wrong, but a lot can happen in 22 pages.
That's fair. Well, listen,
That's
Jay.
not in this book.
Oh man, damn, golly, wow, Jay, tell
Okay.
the people about Dawnrunner.
Dawnrunner is in a world where aliens have started coming to Earth, and so they build these giant mechs to fight them. And one of the star mech pilots is testing a new mech called the Dawnrunner. And basically, this new mech is supposed to increase reaction time because that was an issue. So this new one is supposed to increase that reaction time. And so she goes out and uses it, and her mind starts leaving her body and melding with another soldier. And it turns out that that mech is made from another person. They might explain the science. I don't try to remember. But it's basically just like a Neon Genesis Evangelion. Like, if you read that, you know what's happening here. And but there's a malfunction, and she's living the life of the person that used to be, or of the person that is now this mech.
Yeah,
They
yeah,
use they use human brains as the processor for the mech so that it can better integrate with the human mind. But then memories from the original brain bleed into the operator who's connected to it.
Mm-hmm.
Is
that was a much better description.
I saw Pacific Rim, so I kind of get what they're doing.
Right. Which at this point, I kind of feel like it's almost like it feels like this should be like a genre in and of itself.
But and Jay said mentioned Neo Genesis Evangelion, and I mean, look, when I saw Pacific Rim, that's what I thought. Oh, look, they made a Neo Genesis Evangelion movie. So yeah, at this point, it is becoming a genre.
Well, and that's
robots.
Those are like in Jay, cover your ears. You might not want to hear them. But that's essentially like at the Mountains of Madness from Lovecraft. So it's like that you have this impact where an alien race out of nowhere comes, amorphous alien race comes, and then you start using pieces of it to like create a weapon and fight against them, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. So, Mo, like, why don't you give us your take, man? Because it sounded like you weren't really too high on it.
Well, not that I wasn't too high on it. It's just it's very. I don't even want to call it derivative, and then I see a ship, and it's like, oh, this looks just like Avatar, not the Airbender. So it's like I'm like, yeah, you know what? This is just. It's a book that, like, okay, it's decently written, well drawn, except for that one panel, and but it's really not giving me anything.
Wait, which panel?
Yeah, which panel is the
one? I have a problem with a bunch of panels.
Okay. For me, the worst one, the one that stuck out, and I'm like, you know what? I like everything else. I'm not even going to really nitpick the art, but this one's bad, is right when she's done running, not Dawn running, but done running, and the guy's talking shit to her, and she takes off her glasses to talk to him. Like, that expression on her face doesn't match with the conversation they're having. And it just threw me off. Like, it's just so bad. Like, and it's good art. It's not bad. Like it's just bad. It's so weird. Go ahead, Jay. Sorry.
No, I had the exact same issue. Like, the whole page, it's like she's smiling and looking like she's happy, and I'm like, oh, are they friends? Like, is he just like fucking around with her? And then it's like on the next page, it's like, oh, I really hate that guy, and it's like that artwork does not convey that at all. Like, I'm not saying make him look cartoonishly evil, but like,
well, even her
those expressions just aren't matching, and it's weird because this is the only page where she smiles. Like
Right.
every single other page, she's looking like just stoic, and like he comes and she's like, oh, she starts smiling, and it's like that is weird. That like that, yeah, like that does not convey what's happening well at all.
The way they
And
show
if you can't convey emotions correctly, then you can't really expect me to feel anything about these characters.
and that's one of the things that I thought when I saw that panel. But it's like it's so easy. She had sunglasses the whole time. Like she could have just left them on, and then it would have been fine. Like, oh, she's too cool to take them off because he's talking shit, and she's smiling because she's high. You know, she's cool. Like she's being cool. You know, and it's like I literally, man, I should have done. I was gonna like screenshot it and it just draw sunglasses on it, and then show you the difference because it could. That's an easy fix. You know, like it's like
I know I screenshotted. I didn't draw the sunglasses, but I did want to show you guys in the audience what it looked like. Or I didn't know Mo was going to have the same issue.
Yeah, no, and
but I'll keep talking. This is going to take a second.
Okay, yeah. So, but then you see this luscious like jungle with all this stuff in it, and it's like it just looks great. The colors are great and everything. So it's well drawn for the most part. But it's just when it comes to faces, like even the designs on these dudes, story wise, it's again like kind of derivative. Like even there's a whole show that has this similar concept on Apple TV Plus called Invasion. And that just does a way better job. Like the characters are characters you like or care about or want to see succeed or want to see die. Like it's an ensemble cast like that takes place all over the world. It's like a global invasion event. So it follows like 5 different characters from 5 different parts of the world, and they connect eventually, which is kind of cool. But it's still not. It's still kind of like well, I don't want to talk about the show too much, but we're not at the point where they're making mechs out of the bodies, but they're finding ways to fight them through multinational tech companies and conglomerates. So,
gotcha.
Which is kind of like this is too, and they're based in a Latin American country south of the border, just like yeah.
Right. Would it not pull up, Jay?
Oh, did it not show up? Okay, hold on. Let me try that again.
It stayed small, so that's why I was like, oh, I don't know, I just not showing it to us. No, but it's okay. But I will say, I definitely agree that the emotion that is conveyed there, like her smiling, definitely conveys a different emotion. I thought that was intentional because I thought the same way, like how you were talking, Mo.
Mm-hmm.
Where you're like, oh, she's but
it looks like cool. She's not looking at anything, like she's blind.
Oh, she's looking at him.
She don't look at anybody like that.
But like that's what I thought it was intentional that this expression, but because she just like kind of feeling like whatever about it.
It does look like, oh, hey, that's my homeboy. Like she's like, yeah, no, she's happy to see that guy in that, based on just that image, without reading any of the text.
Like her whole face shape is different. Like that's one of the things I was gonna say earlier.
I agree.
It's like they draw. She looks like a little kid in the other one, like a baby face, and it's like, what is she? Is she about to spit in his face or what? Like, what's going on here?
What gives you that also is the panel just before. When he's like saying something behind her, like you just see the text that he's saying something, and she's got like the what the fuck is that look, but then she sees him, and then you get that image. It's like, oh, that's her homeboy or something, and then no, I guess it's Dick.
Yeah, I should mention. Just real quick that the book's written by Ram V. The art is Evan Cagle, the lines or whatever. The color is Dave Stewart, and letters are Aditya Bidikar.
Go
ahead, Jay.
The art isn't completely bad. There were like a couple of panels I really did like. Like this one showing the monster that they're fighting. But then I think that's just like a cool looking monster. And this one, like the background, I thought was really, really good with the colors and everything.
It's interesting, like listening to you all talk about it. I'm like, I think the art's great, personally.
And then this one is a little standard, but I still kind of like it.
That's like from Evangelion. Like he uses
that's from every mech anime.
Evangelion.
Listen, I'm pretty sure Gundam did it first.
Evangelion.
Hey, I'm just saying, but it's interesting, because the gripe I had with issue 1 specifically was you have this mech design, right? Which, you know, like the design of your mech is, I mean, if you're doing something mech related, like the design of your mech, that's what you put a lot of time into, right? Especially in this day and age when it's like, there's been so many different types of mechs made. So it's like, how do you have your thing stand out? And just about every mech anything has an establishing shot of the mech, because it's like, you need to know what the layout of the mech is. So like, okay, this is what it looks like. So when you're in your action scenes, you know what you're looking at, where and why, and all that kind of stuff. And that was a mistake that I feel like issue 1 made with this, where it was just like, there wasn't a real establishing shot of the mech. It went right, like from darkness where you haven't seen it into action. And then it's just like, okay, like now you have to like parse out what you're looking at. Which, you know, is not like it can't be done or anything like that. Like obviously you can do it, but you know, at some point, like I don't know what your thing looks like. So why make it hard for me to figure it out, like what I'm looking at, if you could just show me a version of it, like this is the mech, you know? It can still be a dynamic pose, but we need that so that you're like, when I'm looking at it doing stuff, I know what bits go where, you know?
Yeah, there's normally that one scene where it's coming out of the hangar.
Right.
And you get like, your good view of what the mech looks like.
Mm-hmm. And this mech has like, you know, I mean, it definitely takes a lot
on the cover. At least for part, I forgot which issue it was, but
it's issue 2. Like issue 2 actually has the establishing shot as well. Like, you know, which is crazy to me, where I'm just like, yeah, you know, in issue 2, I'm like, oh, okay, like that's the mech. Like that shot, that picture should have been in issue 1. You know, because it's like, and I don't understand, like it's really wild, because it's like it goes directly from like it shows it in darkness all the time, and like all you see is like the light in issue 1, and then it's running. It's just like, and I was like, I'm like, what? Like, why? Like, I'm looking at it like, okay, that's the arm, I think. And it's like, you know, and it's like, okay, it has like these like big thighs, you know, and it's like, okay, like, I know that it has the big thighs now, but I'm just like, you know, I'm like, I don't know. Like, it's a weird thing, because obviously the people that made this book are fans of mechs.
It's wearing those World War I hammer pants.
right. With the wide hips, right? Exactly. Like just or the wide thighs. The wide thighs, you know? But it's wild, because it's just like, you can tell, at least I can tell by the way that they establish a whole bunch of other things. I'm like, yeah, they're into the genre. But then to just like, for that to be the convention you buck, it's like, that's weird. Like, you should not have done that. So, yeah. Oz, what did you think of it?
The book or the art?
The book and the art.
The book itself is fine. You know, like if you like giant robots fighting kaijus, I mean, that's what you get. With the interesting
who doesn't?
with a little interesting twist of there's a second brain. Like there's nothing surprising. Like when I saw the glitch and the flashback memories, like I knew what was happening.
Right,
And
I
won't
agree with you.
tell you till the next book. So it's not anything new, but that doesn't mean it's not interesting.
Right.
Art wise, I do like the art,
Mhm.
but it gets on my nerves how much they overdo the goddamn Ben-Days. Like fucking dots everywhere. And especially when like you see it the most when it's the robot and kaiju battle. Like everything is fucking just dots everywhere.
Well, not only that, but like when that scene where that I said looks like Evangelion, like it's all that. Like there's almost no connection between the architecture and the girl because it's all those dots, man.
Yeah, they way over. Like they use them for shadowing. It looks like. So they way overdone. Not really necessary. But like if you actually look at the drawing underneath the dots, it's actually really nice.
Mm-hmm.
So they're actually hurting themselves with the dots because they're covering up some beautiful art.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, that's definitely like a stylistic choice. So yeah.
More hashing, less dots.
Hey, like I do like a good cross hatch. I won't lie.
Well, you can do both. I mean, that's what like Riley Rossmo used to do back in the day. Like he used a lot of scratching and a lot of that too. Like I think he's probably the only one. Everybody started copying him when he started kind of bringing that back. You know?
Right.
Yeah, like for a minute I thought, well, maybe that's just a limitation of the printer that they sent it to, but there's whole panels, like there's whole art pieces in this book that are just regular comic, like modern day comic stuff now, where it's just like the regular color and shading, no cross hatching or dots.
Right.
Sorry, I should have put this up earlier.
Okay.
But yeah, that's issue 1.
Oh, that's an alternate cover?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that's definitely not the main cover. But yeah, I agree. Like that a shot like that would have been nice inside the book. Yeah, that's crazy. So yeah, I don't know. You guys
Ready to rate.
Ready to rate it?
Yep.
Yeah, Jay's already late. You should go.
There it is, Jay.
Well, what I was thinking was no, I'm kidding.
what would you rate Dawnrunner, the comic series Dawnrunner?
I would give it a 2 out of 5. It just didn't do much to me. The art isn't bad, but like I said, that one page was confusing to me. And overall, I just don't think our main character is that interesting. And the concept is fine, but I've seen it before. So even though I'm not 100% sure where they're going to go with it, because the character's not that interesting to me, I feel okay just letting this one, or just stopping with this one.
Okay. All right. Oz, how about you, buddy?
Burr in chat posted a couple links to a couple of the covers. One of which they show one of the mechs, but it's not the Dawnrunner that we get in the book.
Okay.
I don't know how to copy that.
I just highlighted it and copied and pasted on a new thing. As for my review, so yeah, Superman and Lois, like the next season is coming up soon. And
what?
I don't know. I was just thinking how Jay hates it when I'm going on tangents. No, story wise, I said, look, it's
not
fine.
It's not tangents. It's when you say, "Are we ready to rate?" and then you go back in the conversation about it, even though you're just saying what you've already said. It's like you're ready to rate. Oh, what about this page? And like, oh, it's like it's so weird because Lawrence will like just grab onto something someone said like 9 minutes ago and bring that back up. It's like,
Yeah,
Or just-
no ask too many
done.
questions. I get you. I got it. Yeah.
or decide to argue the point at that moment. Like, you know, like it's like, if you feel that, feel that. All right, let's rate. You know, like
I'm gonna go with 4. Well, if you like robots and kaijus, you're gonna love this. The art is actually really, really good, despite the dots. They're doing themselves a disservice with the dots, but you know, that's something that annoys me. I think the average comic book reader is just gonna like, oh, that's an awesome picture of a giant robot decapitating a kaiju. Story wise, I mentioned it's average and predictable for me, but that doesn't make it bad. It's an interesting concept, worth exploring. I'm just probably not gonna read the rest of these books.
That's fair. Moses Magnum, what would you rate Dawnrunner?
it's just like one of these weird things where we all have the same thought on it. Like I feel like we're like in the Langoliers together. Like we just have almost the exact same experience where it's like, even though it is a genre that I like and I've seen before, this one doesn't make me want to read issue 2. Like if I'll read it at the end when it's ending at the end. I just want to hear the complete story, get it over with and be done. I'm not going to sit here and put this on the pull list and try to wait a month for the story like this. Like, yeah, if it's a good 6 parts, I'm like, man, like they could win me in issue 4 and I would never know. Like, cause I'm like, I'll just get to that part when it's over. Yeah. So as a issue 1, it failed in that. So it's a 3. Yeah. Cause part of it is to get me to buy issue 2 and it failed in that. No matter how beautiful the art is, it's like, I'll just look at the art. I'll just put Dawnrunner art in Google every few days or so.
Is this an ongoing or like a set series?
That's a good question.
I don't know if you guys said that earlier or not.
No, you know, I'm not 100% certain. I assumed it was a miniseries. Yeah, it is a miniseries.
Okay.
So how many issues do you know?
I do not. Let's see if I can find
All
out.
right,
real
that's
quick.
fine.
But yeah, so it's interesting. I agree, because I do think the experiences, like, I think we kind of, well, it's I do feel like we kind of all feel similarly about the book, but how we incorporate that experience is or how we filter that experience definitely affects all of our different ratings. Because I know for me, like, I thought it was a 4 as well, which
5
is similar
issues,
to.
by the way.
I
Oh,
was
thank you.
gonna say that.
Yeah,
Oh,
5
thank you,
issues.
Jay. Thank you.
Go on.
But you know, I personally, I enjoyed it like a lot. Like, I read issue 2, and I definitely want to keep reading. Even though I agree 100% that it doesn't break a lot of new ground here. But on the other end of that, I feel like the characters are interesting enough for me to like want to keep reading, and I will try to keep up with it. So yeah, I liked it a lot. Like, I thought.
I wish the aliens won.
Well, they still might. So look, issue 4. No.
Oh,
That's
that one
what
translator
Jay's
dude
talking
is a
about.
little interesting.
Say what now?
That one guy, I did find him interesting. The guy, the linguistics
Oh yeah,
guy,
yeah.
he was
No,
interesting, but he's only in it for like a page.
true. Even though I feel like, like that, I feel like that as a subplot was part of what got me interested too. Where I just like, oh, like that's like a little bit of something that we don't get a lot of. Like, sometimes you get people talking about it, like, how do you communicate with whatever the monster is, but not all the time.
Burr posted a link of the artist also doing Evangelion art.
Lots of dots.
No, just
Show it. I can't click it from my end.
Me either.
The show Invasion that I talked about earlier does that too with the translator.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
that's cool. Yeah, but that's a little different when you're talking about aliens, right? They always try to talk to the aliens.
yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Right. Yeah. Anyway, I'll let Oz post that pic. Or do we need to post it? Oh, there you go.
I can't make it bigger.
Oh no.
Then there's other pictures. Oh, Metallica. Yeah. Hold on. What the hell is that? Metallica has a book?
Yeah, the
It's not a novel cover.
No. It's like a tapestry or something.
All right. Jay, give me some final thoughts, buddy.
So I guess Netflix wants to do a live action Scooby-Doo. I'm not looking forward to it.
There it is. Oscor, final thoughts.
New Batman Arkham game coming out. Other than that, like, subscribe. If you didn't like it, leave a dislike and we'll tell you where you're wrong. So go ahead and do that. Just click something. Click something. Like right. Oh, where is it? I had a whole bottle. I'm done.
Most Magnum, final thoughts.
Yeah, what he said. Like, subscribe, hit the bell. There's two. I uploaded 2 videos, but one's on our TikTok right before it gets banned. So, actually, not even on. No, that's a Heavy Metal Minute on TikTok. Sorry, that's my selfish shit. But
I saw you got a card graded. Was that the legendary that you pulled out of that pack?
Yeah, it's one of them. Yeah. But I realized that in the actual pack, in the booster pack, there was the cool cards. The actual pack that the card pack had the better one. That I should have got that because that might be more expensive. So I might have to send that in too.
Cool. For the entire Fantastic Forum, thank you all so much. We do appreciate you. We'll be back next week. So until then, good night.